This time we will discuss about operating system. This is not a new term for you all. You all have heard, you all know what is the operating system. So this is a video in which we will discuss once again about operating system. What is operating system and what are the different types of operating system? What are the functions of operating system and how it works? So basically, you all know about computer. A computer has hardware, it has softwares. A number of more hardwares are there which are attached to the computer. So basically, if we need to work on computer, then we need to have a interface through which we can use the resources of computer. Resources means memory, the application softwares, the printers or the scanners or the other devices which are connected to the computer. All these hardware devices or the softwares or the applications which are there in the computer or attached to the computer, we need to control it and we need to access over it. So what is that thing which help us to control and access all these things? The thing which comes up is operating system. A operating system act as a interface between a computer hardware and the user. An operating system basically is a software which performs all the basic tasks like file management, memory management, process management, handling input and output, and controlling peripheral devices such as drives, disk drives, printers, scanners, and rest of all the other hardwares which you add to the computer. See, when we work on computer, a computer has a number of resources which we need to access. The very first thing is the applications on which we want to work on, the files which we need to either create or open, the hardware devices which are connected to the computer, and a number of more tools and things are there on which we need to work on. So a operating system help us to control all these things. It acts as a mediator between us and all the resources of the computer. It helps us to operate over the computer and use its resources. All the resources are handled through operating system. So a number of important functions are there which a operating system does. Let's discuss that, not in detail. So the very first function which it does is memory management. The second is process management. The third is device management. The next is file management, security management. It controls over the system performance and error detecting. Plus it coordinates between the software and user. So the very first thing which comes is memory management. So it refers to the management of primary memory or main memory. That is how much memory will be used by an application and which part of memory is not in use. See, in a multi-programming, the operating system decides which process will get memory and when and how much. See, this operating system is only responsible for allocating memory to the applications, which part of memory will be utilized by which applications and how much. The next is processor management. You all know there is a processor in the system, so that also needs to be managed. So in a multi-programming environment, the operating system decides which process gets the processor and when and for how much time. And this particular process is called process scheduling. In processor management, the operating system keeps track of processor and status of processes, how many processes are going on. The program responsible for this task is known as traffic controller. The next work of operating system is device management. You all know that we used to connect a number of devices to the computer, and all these devices have drivers. In order to work with those devices, the drivers are supposed to be there in the computer. So an operating system manages device communication through their respective drivers, means the operating system connects the devices through their drivers. It uh, it means operating system, it keeps tracks of all the devices which are attached to the computer, which are installed in the computer. And the program which is responsible to perform this task is known as IO controller. The operating system decides which process gets the device, when, and for how much time. Next is file management. You all have a number of files in computer. Almost every time when you work on computer, a new file is created. So a file system is normally organized into directories for easy navigation and uses, means a number of directories are created in the memory, and all these directories are used to store our files. Some files are for our work, some files are for the work of the system process. So these directories may contain files, and even they contains other directories also. So the operating system, it keeps tracks of all the informations, the location, the uses, the status of the files. The collective facilities are known as file system. The operating system decides who gets the resources. Who gets the resources means, see, when we work on operating system, we create users and different types of users. When we create, the file systems are created. So this operating system allocates the file for different users. The operating system keeps tracks of all the files which we store in the computer. So if we need to access our files, we need to access through operating system. See, whatever file we open or we close, it is done through this operating system only. The next is security. See, when we work on computer, the most important thing in the computer is our files. We need to secure our files, and for that what we can do is we can protect our computer. And how we can do that? We can set passwords. We can set passwords to the computer, and this setting of password to the computer to uh, prevent unauthorized access to the programs and data from our computer, it is done through operating system. With the help of operating system only, we set a security, we set a password to our computer. So the only authorized person who knows the password can access over the computer and its resources. Those who do not have the password, they cannot. So security also comes through this operating system. The next is error detection. A number of times you must have seen sometimes when the computer shuts down inappropriately, it means it do not shut down properly. Some error message comes up the next time when we start. So all these error messages and correcting of these errors are done through some of the tools which are there in the operating system. So basically, it detects the error, and some of the errors are automatically corrected, and some tools are also there through which we can correct the errors which comes in our system. So when we discuss about operating system, we have two different types of operating system. The very first one is command line interface. It is called CLI, command line interface, and the second one is interactive operating system interface. So if we take the first one, that is command line interface, these are the types of operating system in which we need to work with commands. Do you really know what are commands? See, basically commands are the instructions which are given to the computer. Each and every command has a particular type of syntax. Syntax means the way of writing a command. So basically, in order to work on command line interface, we need to remember a lot of things, and those lot of things are, the very first thing is command. There is nothing like mouse or pointer or graphics, nothing is there, only a prompt is there, a command prompt is there, and on the command prompt we have to type a command, whatever work we require to do on that operating system. For that work a command is there. You have to remember the name of the command, the proper spelling of the command, plus you have to remember how that command will be written. There are particular way of writing the commands, and those particular ways of writing commands are termed as syntax. Means each and every command has a syntax, and you have to follow that particular syntax to write that command in order to work on the system which has a command line interface. So it is not a simple, not a easy type of operating system. You have to remember a series of commands, because for every type of work, for every type of task you need to work on that particular system, you need to remember their commands. Every command has different work, and for different work you need to use its syntax and the command. So basically command line interface works on command. Commands are instructions, the terms which you have to type. The only thing you need to have is a keyboard. Through the keyboard you have to type the command, press enter key. If that command is written properly, following its proper syntax, then that particular work will be done, otherwise a error message will appear. Some examples of command line interface are DOS, Unix. These all works with command. We need to remember the commands, and for each and every task we need to type down the commands, and the following actions will be done. The next type of operating system is interactive operating system interface. This type of interface do not require command. Every action, every function is predefined, and all those actions are there on the screen, and we simply require to point on those and we need to click on it. These all are there in the form of menus, icons. So we only need a mouse pointer and we need to click on the action which we need to perform. All those actions are there on the screen. We only require to click on it and that particular action will be performed. So interactive operating system is of two types. The very first one is graphical user interface. We also say it as WIMP. It means windows, icons, menu and pointer. And the next type is touch screen interface. See, whatever computer you all use at present time, all those computers are graphical user interface. Means you might never have used a command to work on it. The only thing which you require is a mouse. As you move the mouse, the pointer on the screen moves around. Actions are there, options are there on the screen, objects are there on the screen in the form of pictures and icons. You only require to click on those, and as you click on those, your particular work is done. So this graphical user interface is the simplest form of operating system on which any person can work on. The only thing is you require to work with the mouse. Simply you move the mouse. As you move the mouse, there is a pointer on the screen. The pointer moves along with the mouse. There are buttons on the mouse, and accordingly you need to use the buttons, that is right or left, according to the task which you need to perform. The very first GUI was created by Xerox in 1973, and further Apple came with some advancement, and Macintosh also came, and now you can see a number of operating systems are there which are available and on which we can work, and these are graphical user interface. The most common one which we use is Windows. The next type of operating system in interactive operating system is touchscreen interface. At present time, you all have cell phones in your hand, and every cell phone at present time works on touch. I mean, you need to move the finger on the screen, you need to point on the object, you need to press that object with your finger, and that particular task is done. So this is how touchscreen interface works. A touch sensitive screen is there, and you need to point the objects on the screen through your finger. uh, Windows 10 is also, or can also be used as touchscreen if your system is touchscreen enabled. Android is there, iOS is there. You can use all these as a touchscreen interface only when your device has a touch screen. The only thing you require is you need to press your finger on it. You need to put your finger on the object on which you want to work on. Multi finger function is also there, means you can pinch, you can zoom. A number of tools are there, a number of operations are there which you can do only by keeping your finger on that particular task. So this time only this much. Next time we will discuss some more thing about operating system, and do watch the video, listen to the descriptions properly. Bye for now. Take care.